What's up, guys? Welcome back to Rosie TV. It's been a long time, but I'm back here today and we're gonna preview a few games from this weekend. New series I'm starting, it's called The Big Three, where I go through the top 5 leagues and review the 3 biggest games for the weekend. And today we're gonna be talking about some pretty big games, including Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester United, Everton, and Real Madrid against Real Sociedad. We're gonna be starting off with, of course, Chelsea Arsenal, probably the biggest game of the weekend. It's going to be at Stamford Bridge, which is not a good thing at all for Arsenal, as the last time they won at Stamford Bridge was actually in 2011, so it's been a very long time. But what they have going for them is the fact that the last 2 games between Chelsea and Arsenal have actually won. The last game coming in the Community Shield, where they won on penalties, and then obviously in the FA Cup final where they beat Chelsea 2-1. And in my opinion, played Chelsea off the park that day. But there is some questions going into the game, especially regarding Alexis Sanchez. Is he gonna start? Is he not gonna start? He played 90 minutes against Cologne on Thursday night in the Europa League. So is that enough rest for him to be starting on Sunday? I think Arsenal need to play their best players, and they might have to sacrifice this one and end up playing Alexis Sanchez. It could very well backfire, but it could be a big mistake not playing him and then getting thrashed because your best player is not on the pitch. And a loss would be huge for Arsenal because they've already lost 2 games this season, one against Stoke, and they got thrashed against Liverpool a few weeks ago 4-0. A third loss so early in the season could be detrimental and could end any hopes for a title challenge for Arsenal. We never really thought they were going to challenge for the title, and we know that they're trying to go for a top 4, but even that is up in the air right now. On the other hand, Chelsea, they just came off of a 6-0 win against Qarabağ in the Champions League. And while they have already lost this season in the first game against Burnley, lately they've had a very tough schedule, but they've done very well. They had Spurs, Everton, and Leicester and won all 3 of those games. And now obviously they have Arsenal, and in 2 weeks they're going to have Manchester City. So if they can get a win against Arsenal and then get at least a point against City, that will be a very good run of results for Antonio Conte and his men. And of course, the biggest news is Eden Hazard will probably start for this game. He made an appearance against Qarabağ late on. So taking that into account and taking into account that Arsene Wenger probably won't play Alexis, along with Arsenal's defensive issues this season, I think Chelsea are going to have a cakewalk in this game at the Bridge. I'm going with a bit of a bold prediction. I know they're 2 big teams, but I'm going to say Chelsea win this one 3-0. I could very well end up looking like a dummy when Arsenal get a result. I'm going to go ahead and risk it and say 3-0 for the Blues. Next, we're moving on to Manchester United and Everton, which also kicks off on Sunday. The big news regarding this game is Paul Pogba is injured going into this game. It looks like he can miss up to 4 weeks. They're saying 2 to 4 weeks, which is going to be a big hit for United. Pogba's been in good form, but also Manchester United have been in great form. They're undefeated so far this season. They also have the most goals scored in the league and the joint best defensive record in the league as well, which is pretty impressive. And midweek in the Champions League, they beat Basel 3-0, which just shows Mourinho is finally implementing his philosophy in this United team. And guys like Lukaku and Rashford and Mkhitaryan are thriving. Everton, on the other hand, have been pretty awful. They only have 1 win this season, and they're right now sitting at 16th place, just a little above the relegation zone. But I think it's a little bit unfair on them. They have had a very tough schedule. They had City, they had Chelsea, and they had Spurs, and they managed to get 1 point only from those 3 games. And now obviously they have Manchester United. Still think they're a decent team, and I still think they're a team that's going to finish 7th this season. But right now they're getting really unlucky with the teams that they have to play. I think after this tough schedule is over, they will start gaining those points. But they are very low on confidence right now, obviously with all the losses this season. And in midweek on Thursday night, they lost to Atalanta in the Europa League 3-0. Now, Atalanta are no slouch, but 3-0 is pretty awful for a team that are favorites for that game. So this definitely needs to be a bounce back game for them. And I think if they get a draw out of this game, it would be a very good result for Everton. I think the key thing for them is to stop Mkhitaryan. Now that Pogba's gone, a lot of the creativity is going to come from Mkhitaryan and Mkhitaryan only. He's had a fire start to the season, already 5 assists in the league, which is the most assists so far. If they can contain him, they definitely have a good chance at winning. But at the same time, United have some good depth. They have Juan Mata who can step in there in Pogba's spot. But Mkhitaryan so far has probably been United's best player this season, and Everton need to contain him. But as for the prediction for this game, I'm going to go 2-0 for Manchester United. They've been in very good form, and I think they're going to continue that with a win here against Everton. Look for someone like Lukaku to score against his former club. Finally, I'm ending off with Real Sociedad against Real Madrid. Sociedad, a very solid team who had a very good start to this season. They've won 3 out of 3 games, which leaves them in 2nd place, just behind Barcelona. They've beat some pretty decent La Liga sides such as Celta Vigo, Villarreal, and Alaves. But it is important to note that Sociedad actually haven't scored against Real Madrid since 2015. So there's been a long gap there. They definitely need to break their duck here against Madrid. And I think they're going against Real Madrid at the best possible time. Madrid have struggled a little bit this season so far. They have 1 win out of 3 games. They drew 2 of those games, which leaves Real Madrid in 7th place, already 4 points behind Barcelona. And in La Liga, you don't want the gap to be big because Barcelona are not going to lose that many games. So if that gap gets to 8-9 points, that could be the point of no return. So Madrid aren't in the best form, and on top of that, they're missing 3 key players for this game. Obviously, Ronaldo is suspended for this game, Marcelo is suspended for this game, and Karim Benzema is going to be injured for this game. He's going to be injured for quite a while. So I think it's up to Asensio, it's up to Bale and Isco to pick up the slack here. But now that they've lost Morata, the only other striker option they have is Bale, who isn't a natural striker. So I expect him to play in more of a false 9 position in this game. And I expect also Theo Hernandez to play in the place of Marcelo. I still think Madrid have the quality to get a result here. They still have some quality players such as Isco and Asensio, who I talked about earlier. Asensio especially, one of the most promising young players in Europe at the moment. And I think if he continues along this path, he could be the next best player in the world. He's been so good in the big competitions, and I think here he's going to come up big. I'm going to go ahead and say that Real Madrid get the away win 2-1 with an Asensio goal and assist. So that's it for the big 3 games this weekend. Tell me your predictions in the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe for more football content. And hopefully I will have more consistent content for you guys in the future. I know I've said that a lot, but with school starting just a few weeks ago, it's been a very busy time. So I promise that I will try to get more out for you. But as always, thank you for watching Rosie TV.